My father found a thick piece of old rebar in a scrapyard and challenged me. Could I turn it into something truly shocking? Of course, I accepted. First, I cut off a 12-centimeter section and then split it perfectly in half lengthwise. After that, I took a piece of old leaf spring steel of the same size and stacked everything together like a sandwich. Rebar on the outside and leaf spring steel in the center. Next, I fired up my forge, added plenty of charcoal, and placed the steel sandwich into the fire. Once it reached forging temperature, I removed it and sprinkled borax on both sides. I repeated this process several times to drive out the oxygen trapped between the layers and help the steels weld together properly. Then the forging began. First, I hammered carefully and slowly. Once the layers fused together, I started hitting much harder. For the entire day, I forged the steel by hand until it became a solid plate about 5 millimeters thick. After that, I shaped the blade and forged the point. Then I cut the ends, reheated them, and bent them outward in opposite directions. This was the shape I had by the end of the day. The next stage was the belt grinder. I started refining the blade contours on both sides and improved the shape of the tip. Some areas were difficult to reach with the grinder, so I refined those details by hand, using a file. Then came the most important stage, grinding the bevels. This step determines both the beauty and the performance of the knife. After the bevels were finished, I welded a 7-centimeter threaded rod onto the end of the tang for the handle assembly. Then I heated the blade once again to approximately 850 degrees Celsius and quickly quenched it in oil. Now the steel was extremely strong. Next came sanding. I sanded both sides from 180 grit all the way to 2000 grit. After cleaning the blade, I placed it into ferric chloride for several minutes. The result was exactly what I wanted. A visible line appeared in the steel. The hard leaf spring steel formed the center core, while the outer layers were made from the softer rebar steel. Now it was time for the handle. I made a simple brass bolster and a brass pommel. Then I fitted brass and wood components onto the threaded tang and secured everything with a nut. After that, I shaped the handle on the belt grinder from every angle. Once the overall shape was finished, I hand sanded the wood up to 320 grit and applied protective wax. Finally, I sharpened the blade up to 3000 grit. And this is the final result. If you think I won this challenge, make sure to subscribe to my channel.